Hello and welcome back to my channel. I have this page in my bullet journal called my series tracker, or all the series that I'm currently in the middle of, and I'm going to show it to you in a second. But I thought right now, since it's December, would be a great time to just take inventory of what series I finished this year, what series I still have left to work on, take a look at some series that I started this year that I'm still working on. So that's what we're gonna do right now. This is just gonna be like a short series inventory video. So one just for me to kind of chronicle kind of where I'm at for all my series, and it's also just kind of fun to see what series everyone's in the middle of. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, we are at my desk right now, and this is my series tracker. So if you take a look over this, every other line there is the name of the series, and then each of the circles represents a book, and I believe for most of these it is books that are already out. There's a couple that when I drew it in based on like the projected series, like when I length, which is when I first started, but otherwise we're going to take a look at all of these series. So let's zoom in to this first part here. So if you take a look at the top here, and actually there is one I need to color in, Caraval, the half circle, that represents a novella, and I read that novella yesterday, so I do need to color that in. But if we take a look at the top here, I finished the Hades and Persephone series this year. I finished the Lilac Girls series this year as well. Like I said, I just finished the Caraval one. I'm going to color that one in a second. The Fairy Tale Retelling, that is by Scarlett St. Clair, I think, and the second book for that came out this fall. I am on the wait list for the library for that one. I read the Crown's Game duology this year. Secrets of the Nile, the second book in that series, came out in October, I think. So again, I'm on the library wait list to read that one as well. I am all caught up on the Lady Sherlock series, and I think the next book for that comes out in the spring. I started the Stoneheart series. This was a book that I had on my TBR for a very long time, like probably close to 20 years. And so I'm going to finish out that series hopefully in 2025. If you take a look at the Empyrean, I have a pencil circle with a note saying that there are books coming out in 2025. I actually already have that one pre-ordered. The Inheritance Games, I started that on KU, and the second book isn't on KU, so I'm on my library wait list for that. I've been on that hold list for probably 6 months now, but so I'm just gonna have to wait for that to come in. The Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney series, there's one more book in that. The X-Hex, I just finished up the third book that came out in that. Last Reality, this is a young adult series that I started this year, and it was so fun, but my library doesn't have, or my Libby doesn't have any more of those, so I'll have to check my actual library to see if they have the rest of that series. The Breadwinner series originally was a trilogy, and I read the original trilogy, but there are 2 more books in that, so that is something that I want to work on in the next year. If we look down, Adrian and Isolde, that's the one that I marked that it is projected to be a trilogy, but there is not a third book set to come out. So that one is not going to migrate over into my next year's journal. It might migrate over, instead of like series tracker, just like a section on the side that's like projected future books, just so I remember. But the same to just have that note there. But there's a third book that is, so that's coming out yet. The Nightshade Crown, I'm all caught up on that. Mortal Engines, I did this year. I read the entire Bridgerton series. I just had the novella left to finish this year, which was all the second epilogue, so I got caught up in that in the spring. The original Sherlock Holmes series, I've only read the third book, so that is one that I would like to read more of. The first edition Library Mysteries, I got one of these as a book a couple years ago, and I read it, I believe, last year, and so they're just fun little books. I'm hoping to check those out for my library. Same thing with A Study in Charlotte. Those are ones I want to check out from my library. Burning Cove, this is a series of interconnected standalones, and I am very interested to read these. I was reading these at a time when I was reading a lot of similar types of stories. These are by Amanda Quick, I believe. The Zeros trilogy, I finally read the first book in this year or the previous year. I can't remember at this point. Some of these I went way back into my library checkouts to see which ones I had. And I have Billy and Me, Barry Russell, and Sherlock Holmes. This is a really long series. I'm on the wait list for a couple of these audiobooks. The Daughter of Sherlock Holmes, this is one that I started a while ago. The Narrows, I just have one of the interconnected books left to read. I'm hoping to finish that before the end of the year so I don't have to migrate that series over to my next journal. And then I finished out the Realmbreaker series this year with the newer book that just came out. Shadow and Shade is a series that I started reading during COVID and lockdown, and like I binged through the first 3 books, but all of the books are like exactly the same, and I just kind of put it down. But I do have all of the books because I think I bought them when they were like 99 cents or something. So I have Kindle versions of all of them, so I would like to read them because I've spent money on them. I finished the Between Earth and Sky series this year. The third book came out in June, and I absolutely loved this series. I definitely will do a reread on it. And then I read the entire Off Campus series in probably 2 to 3 months. Absolutely loved it. I want to finish Elle Kennedy's Backlist. Same thing with Campus Diaries. I read the 2 that are out, and then there's a third book coming out in 2025. Outlander is a series I'm currently working my way through. I'm currently listening to the 4th audiobook. The Mysterious Benedict Society, the second book was one I had on my shelf for the longest time, again, probably 2 decades. And I finally read it this year. I checked the first one out from the library. I read the one on my shelf, and I just want to finish out the series. And then the final series on my series tracker here is Letters of Enchantment. I am currently working on the second book in this, and I have been since September, so my goal is to finish that out by the end of the year. So there are all of my series that I am currently working on. So I just wanted to make a really quick video about all the series that I am working on and are in the middle of as I work in this next month on migrating all of this information over to my 2025 journal. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.